The simulation chamber hummed with barely contained energy as Commander Zixtal observed the final examination through the reinforced viewing panel. 23 cadets from across the Galactic Federation stood frozen in terror, their various appendages trembling as the apex predator stalked through the artificial jungle environment. The Catherian shadow beast was a masterpiece of evolutionary perfection. 2 meters of rippling obsidian muscle, 6 razor-sharp limbs that could slice through titanium, and bioluminescent patterns that hypnotized prey before the killing strike. Its mandibles clicked rhythmically, producing the bone-chilling sound that had made entire star systems surrender rather than face these creatures in combat. "Fascinating specimen," Commander Zixtal murmured to his aide, watching as the beast's thermal sensors locked onto the hidden cadets. "The psychological impact alone has rendered 67% of our trainees completely immobile." The Vortan cadet pressed himself deeper into the synthetic vegetation, his 4 eyes wide with primal fear. Beside him, a crystalline officer's usually radiant form had dimmed to barely a flicker. Even the notoriously brave Zentaurian warrior caste representative had his combat tentacles coiled defensively around his torso. This was exactly what the examination was designed for, testing a soldier's ability to function under the most terrifying circumstances imaginable. The Shadow Beast was undefeated in these simulations, having psychologically broken every cadet who had encountered it over the past 3 cycles. "Sir," the aide whispered, "the human cadet appears to be moving." Commander Zixtal's attention snapped to the lone figure walking calmly through the underbrush. Cadet Sarah Chen, the only human in this training cohort, seemed completely unaffected by the predator's presence. Her biometric readings showed elevated heart rate and adrenaline levels, but nothing approaching the terror paralysis affecting her colleagues. "Is her equipment malfunctioning?" Zixtal asked, confused. "Perhaps she cannot perceive the threat properly?" The shadow beast detected Chen's movement and spun toward her with fluid grace. Its bioluminescent patterns flared in the hypnotic display that had frozen entire battalions of enemy soldiers. The creature rose to its full, intimidating height, mandibles spreading wide to reveal rows of molecular-edged teeth. Chen stopped walking and tilted her head, studying the predator with curious eyes. "Oh my God," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's audio system. "You're absolutely adorable." Every being in the observation deck turned to stare at Zixtal, who was frantically checking his translation matrix. "Did she just—" "The translation appears accurate, sir." In the simulation, Chen took a step closer to the shadow beast, which was now thoroughly confused by this unprecedented reaction. Its hypnotic display faltered, patterns flickering uncertainly. "Look at those patterns," Chen cooed, her voice carrying the same tone Zixtal had heard human caregivers use with their offspring. "And those eyes, you're just a big space kitty, aren't you?" The predator, for the first time in recorded history, took a step backward. Chen continued her approach, making soft clicking sounds with her tongue. "Here, kitty kitty. I bet you just need some attention, don't you? All that posturing is just because you're scared." "Impossible," breathed the aide. "The shadow beast doesn't experience fear. It's an apex predator." But the evidence was undeniable. The creature's aggressive posture was melting into something resembling confusion, then, incredibly, curiosity. Its mandibles retracted slightly, and the hypnotic patterns shifted from their traditional threat display to something almost questioning. Chen extended her hand slowly, palm up. "That's right, big guy. I'm not going to hurt you." The other cadets watched in absolute bewilderment as the most feared predator in known space cautiously approached the small human female. The Catherian shadow beast, scourge of 17 star systems, killer of thousands, lowered its massive head toward Chen's outstretched hand. She gently scratched behind what might charitably be called its ear. The predator's entire body shuddered. And then, to the complete horror of every observer, it began to purr. The sound was like a fusion reactor humming contentedly, but unmistakably a purr. "Good boy," Chen murmured, now using both hands to pet the creature's sleek head. "You're just misunderstood, aren't you? I bet nobody ever told you that you're a good boy before. In the observation deck, Commander Zixtel was experiencing what humans might call an existential crisis. How is this possible? That creature has killed trained warriors. It's designed by evolution to be the perfect killing machine. His aide, a Mentarian known for their analytical capabilities, offered a theory. Sir, perhaps humans evolved alongside even more dangerous predators. Their survival strategy appears to be domestication through affection. Below, Chen had somehow convinced the shadow beast to lie down and was now scratching its belly while the creature's purring reached seismic levels. The other cadets were slowly emerging from their hiding places, staring in disbelief. "Who's a scary space monster?" Chen was asking in a voice that suggested she thought the answer was definitely not you. "Who's just a big softy who needs love?" The shadow beast's response was to roll over and present its other side for attention. Commander Zixtal closed all four of his eyes and tried to process what he was witnessing. The most intensive psychological warfare training in the galaxy had been defeated by a human's instinctive reaction to call a galaxy-class predator cute and offer it affection. "Sir," his aide said quietly, "I believe we may need to reconsider our threat assessment protocols." The simulation ended with Chen having somehow convinced the shadow beast to fetch, while the other cadets looked on in the kind of stunned silence usually reserved for religious experiences. As the artificial environment faded away, Chen gave the predator one final pat on the head. "Good boy, you're going to be just fine." The creature watched her go with what could only be described as heartbreak. Later, in the debriefing room, Commander Zixtal struggled to write his report. How did one explain that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology, their adaptability, or their resilience, but their inexplicable ability to look at the universe's most terrifying creatures and see something worth loving? "Cadet Chen," he said finally, "how did you know the creature wouldn't harm you?" Chen shrugged. "I didn't. But everything scary is usually just scared itself, you know? Besides," she grinned, "I have 3 cats back home. You learn to read the signs." Commander Zixtal made a mental note to add human pet keeping experience to the list of qualifications that should concern enemy commanders. After all, if they could domesticate Catherian shadow beasts with nothing but affection and baby talk, what couldn't humans turn into allies?